Kitten gets returned to shelter for 10th time. Then staff screamed in shock when they realized why. A cat named Kitty, who despite her charming name, had a reputation that left much to be desired. Kitty had been adopted from the local animal shelter not once, not twice, but 10 times. Each time she found herself back at the shelter, her antics causing frustration and disappointment among her adoptive owners. The list of Kitty's mischievous exploits was lengthy and disheartening. She scratched wallpapers and furniture, tore through any paper in her path, and even threw flower pots from the windowsills. In one unfortunate household, she managed to damage important documents, and in another she narrowly escaped a singed tail after leaping onto a gas stove. Cables, headphones, and various household items fell victim to Kitty's sharp claws and insatiable curiosity. With each return to the shelter, the number of complaints grew, and the chances of Kitty finding a forever home seemed to dwindle. Many people deemed her incorrigible, a lost cause. But amidst the despair, there was one person who believed otherwise. The sixth potential owner was a young girl with a heart full of compassion and determination. As she held Kitty in her arms, the shelter staff warned her about the cat's troublesome behavior in previous homes. However, the girl wasn't daunted by the challenges ahead. She saw beyond the superficial mischief and was convinced that the problem lay not with Kitty, but with those who had given up on her too easily. In her eyes, rehoming a cat because of misbehavior was akin to abandoning a crying child seeking attention. The girl took it upon herself to be the one who wouldn't give up on Kitty. She believed that with willpower, perseverance, and a whole lot of love, even the most troublesome of situations could be turned around. Determined to change Kitty's fate, the girl began Kitty's education in earnest, recognizing that the mischievous feline needed an outlet for her energy. The girl strategically placed boxes filled with toys and rags in every room. When Kitty entered a room, her attention would be immediately drawn to the enticing playthings, diverting her from curtains and wallpaper. Of course, there was occasional lapses, but the girl remained steadfast. She patiently redirected Kitty's focus and provided the love and care that the cat had perhaps never experienced before. As time passed, the once restless Kitty transformed. The mischievous robber became a more balanced and calmer version of herself, though her love for games remained. Even the most challenging situations can be changed when met with understanding and compassion. Another shocking moment. A rare kitten was dropped off at an Oregon Humane Society, later stunning shelter workers when they realized how special he was. The kitten was discovered to be an intersex male tortoiseshell cat, the Humane Society of Central Oregon said in a June 6 Facebook post. It was like spotting a unicorn, the Humane Society's clinic manager, Bailey Shelton, said in the post. But when Cinder first got to the animal shelter on April 30, he was believed to be a female cat, so he was initially named Cindy because of his coloring and external genitalia, the nonprofit said. The kitten was fostered for 5 weeks, then returned to the shelter to be spayed. That's when veterinarians realized the kitten didn't have any ovaries or a uterus to surgically remove. However, they did find 2 testicles, so he was neutered, the nonprofit said. After the surgery, Cindy was named Cinder, the shelter said. Veterinarians also determined Cinder had feline disorder of sexual development because he had both testicles and a vulva, a female reproductive organ, the nonprofit said. His tortoiseshell coloring indicates that he has an extra X chromosome in his DNA, making him XXY, the animal shelter said. Tortoiseshell cats are typically female because coloring comes through the X chromosome. For example, a female cat can get black fur coloring from one parent and orange coloring from another parent because they have 2 X chromosomes. However, male cats have 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosome. The Y chromosome doesn't determine coloring, so they have either black or orange coloring, according to the University of Miami Biology Department. Cinder has tortoiseshell coloring and testicles, so he likely has an extra X chromosome. Even though I've only been in the veterinary field for 9 years, this very well could be a once-in-a-career moment, Shelton said. They always talked about how rare male tortoiseshells are back in school, but seeing one in person is something else. Annie Polzone, a veterinary technician, has worked with animals for 20 years and said it is always fun to see these types of animals in one's career because they're so rare. The shelter said Cinder was adopted. A cat that was adopted as a kitten over a decade ago has been returned to the shelter in circumstances that sparked anger online. In a video posted to TikTok, the Humane Society of East Carolina, HSEC, introduced followers to Arthur, a loyal and loving rescue cat who had a history with the shelter. Arthur was adopted from us as a kitten in 2013, an HSEC spokesperson told Newsweek. On February 29th, he was returned to us. The circumstances of his return have sparked consternation among many on social media. The reason he was returned, according to his surrender form, was moving in with boyfriend and he is allergic, the HSEC spokesperson explained. This revelation sparked disbelief among many of those watching the video of Arthur, which has already garnered over 591,000 views and counting. Elsewhere, one user said, "Never, my dad was allergic and took allergy shots for my mom's cats. If he wanted to, he would." While a second one added, "If my BF was allergic to my baby and couldn't just deal with it, he's not the one." A third, meanwhile, declared, "I once unmatched a guy on Bumble when he asked me if I would be willing to give up my cats for his allergies. Heck no." Despite the response online, the sad reality is that Arthur is now back at the shelter where he started and facing an uphill battle to land himself another forever home.